Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I've got a special graphics card here, the Sapphire R9 290X 8GB, and we are taking it apart since it's starting to make some trouble, namely crashing after a couple of hours. So we've got the Tri-X variant here, and I've already pulled off the cooler by using this screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver. These were from the back, these were from the socket, these were from the I/O shield. So actually the card is already disassembled. So now we can look at the back of the cooler. So what we can see is that the cooler construction is actually pretty good. Here we have the VRAM cooling. Here we have the VRAM cooling. Quite a lot VRAM modules. Here in the middle we have the copper base plate for the GPU. You can see the darkened area, that's where the GPU die touches. And we have a couple of small points where the cooler also touches some components on the PCB to cool them. Normally all of these metal pads here are stuffed with thermal pads. I removed all of them and cleaned the whole cooler because they were hardened out after all the years of usage. And this is what they look now. As you can see, not really good. Most of the gray pads just broke off from the VRAM area when I touched them, so they were completely hard. The black rubber stuff on the VRAM actually was still okay, but the problem was that oil leaked out of them. I don't know how that's possible, but it went under the VRAM modules and made some more trouble. So what I bought are these thermal pads here. You can cut them as you like, and the second mat here is already pre-cut. I guess I'll use this one and just reapply everything here. Now let's take a look at the actual graphics card, at the PCB. So here we have it, mighty PCB. Here we have the GPU die, the VRAM modules, as well as some chokes, the VRM, and this is actually pretty interesting. We have two 8 pins, then these here, then the VRAMs, and then a secondary row of capacitors. Usually you only have the VRMs and this row of capacitors, but I guess they implement this one to stabilize the 12 volts that are incoming, those that are going to the modules here, and these here are for stabilizing actually the VRAM and the GPU itself. So double security for stability on this card. I like to see that. I guess we would also need that on the actual Vega cards, since weak PSUs are overloaded because these row of capacitors are missing. Now let's get a clear shot on the technicals that are on top of them. So here we got the 3 volt capacitors, which are actually getting 1.2 from the VRMs, and here we've got 16 volt capacitors, which are actually getting the 12 volts from the PSU 8 pin connectors. The VRM modules themselves are pretty weak, and it's only a 6-phase power design. Well, we've got a couple of modules up here as well, but I'm not quite sure what they do. But let's say this, the 12 volt stabilizing is nice, however the VRAM itself is pretty average. Now let's get to the VRAM. I think it's Alpida, you can barely read it. There we go. Yeah, it's Alpida memory. I think the card clocks with 1500 megahertz. So the VRAM is actually pretty beefy since it's connected with a 512 bit connection to the GPU core. We've also got 8 gigs. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 modules, each having 512 megabytes. So we've got 8 gigabytes in total. So yeah, let's take in the whole graphics card for once. Let's put on some light. There we go. Now this card actually doesn't have a backplate, sadly. Those went into production on the 390X series with 8 gigabytes. So here we have the back side. Nothing special actually. And here we have the IL cover with the screws removed. So we've got one display port, one HDMI and 2 DVIs. And what I'm going to do now is take my thermal pads, cut them into position, place them everywhere, and then I'm going to use some Arctic MX2 compound, thermal compound, and put it onto the GPU. Good thing is this thing doesn't shortcut anything, it's not conductive, so no worries about these little inductors here, which are around pretty much every GPU, not actually every GPU, but most of them. So yeah, we don't have to worry about that with this one. Also the thermal conductivity is pretty good on the MX2 compound. It's not the best in the world, but I got the big tube and it was like 12 euros or something, and you can use it for like 50 dies or CPUs. So pretty good price to performance, in my opinion. So thanks for joining me today, and see you next time. Bye bye.